What's up guys, Shuckle King here, and I have my team analysis for NJNP's Pokemon Draft League Tournament based out of his Good Saturday Discord server. This draft league is 8 Pokemon you draft, and it's a free draft, so you can pick whatever 8 Mons you want. They could all be theoretical Tier 1 Mons if it's a tier draft, or high points if it's a point-based draft. You can draft whatever 8 Pokemon you want that are allowed in this league. There's 8 tournament pools of 16 teams each, so it's a fairly large tournament in that regard. And you also allow a couple more Pokemon in. I feel like some other tournament leagues that I've been in allow. The first one you can see here is Sheer Force Landorus Eye is allowed. That would be my first priority there if I had the first overall pick. Gothitelle with Shadow Tag, anything with Shadow Tag. Arena Trap Dugtrio is also allowed, but I feel like that's pretty much standard nowadays. Mega Kangaskhan with all of its moves except for Seismic Toss are allowed, which I just feel like that's a weird move, restricting one move that it's not allowed to use. It just seems a little clunky in that regards, but that's fine. I guess Mega Kangaskhan isn't terribly broken, but that'd be interesting to test out. I have Mew here as a Baton Pass is allowed, but you're not allowed a Baton Pass speed. Baton Pass anything else you want, so it'd be interesting if I drafted like a Baton Pass based team. Mega Latios is allowed, Mega Latios is not allowed, but I feel like people see Mega Latios as just an inferior Latios, just because Latios can use like Soul Dew or Life Orb or leftover specs to make itself more powerful than Mega Latios. So Mega Latios may or may not be broken, be interesting to see there. And the last is Hoopa Unbound, which, look at that attack stat. It's ginormous. 160 attack, 170 special attack. But its speed is little to desired, so maybe it's not as broken as we imagine. So I was placed 9th in the draft. So 9 out of 16 teams. So it's snake draft, so I have the 9th overall pick in the first round. And in the second round, I have the 8th overall pick. So in the center, which is fine. So again, you guys know I feel like the best position is the first position, the worst position is the last position. So the higher up, the better it is. So it's about the middle for me, which is fine. And I feel like I have a better chance of getting what I want just because there's more broken stuff allowed, or what I feel like could be broken than normal. So I did want to try out something new. I was hoping either Landorus Eye, Mega Kangaskhan, Latios, or Hoopa Unbound would be available. Landorus was taken, but Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Latios, and Hoopa were all available for my pick. I figured Hoopa, I think it's a little underwhelming with the speed, and Mega Kangaskhan I figured was already a very good poke. I didn't have to test to see that it would have been interesting to use, but I decided to go at Mega Latios with my first pick. Mega Latios is 130 attack and 160 special attack, 110 speed. That's excellent for any offensive threat there. It has Dragon Dance, it has Calm Mind, so I can sweep physically or especially offensive based. I guess I am bulkier than normal Latios, though not by too much. So this might be a stretch of a pick, but I wanted to test it out to see if it's any good or not. But I feel like its versatility between being a special attacker or a physical attacker makes it a little bit better than Latios in that regard, that it's a little more unpredictable, you could say. And its decent bulk allows me to take hits. So what I wanted to pair Latios with was just to get the best Pokemon available. It didn't really matter with fit, at least for the first 5 picks. So for my first 6 picks overall, Latios plus the 5 others, just want to get the best available. And for my 7th and 8th pick, there's enough pokes available that I can balance out the rest of my team. So Pokemon that I wanted to get that I feel like works very well with Dragon types is a Fairy type, and maybe the best Fairy in a format right now is Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is extremely bulky from the physical and special defensive side. Doesn't get recovery, which is unfortunate, but that's the really only downfall. It has very decent speed at base 85, has Defog. With Mega Latios, I really don't have to get speed at this point anymore in the draft, which is a very nice thing to have. And Tapu Fini is nice because it's You could call it a stall breaker just because it has taunt with a decent speed to outspeed most walls, and it has a good stab moves and Moonblast and Surf or Scald. Couple that with 95 special attack, which isn't the greatest, but if you max it out, maybe give it a Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, it could definitely catch opponents off surprise there. So I feel like Tapu Fini is a little more versatile than what its stats make it out to be otherwise. So I got Tapu Fini with the 24th pick, and the average between the 7 other pools was pick 33 as the average where it was taken. So consider like a late second round pick, which I guess is fair for Tapu Fini, so I guess I wouldn't consider this a stretch pick, just because people did take Tapu Fini before this, and Tapu Fini fits very well with Latios, and it was a second round pick generally. So I feel pretty good with that selection there. The next Pokemon I wanted a very hard physical attacker wall breaker. And maybe one of the best ones available in Draft League format was on the board very surprisingly. I got this with the 41st pick, and the average it was picked in the other 7 pools was pick 23. So basically the average of when I picked my Tapu Fini was when Tapu Bulu was picked, which was my 3rd pick. I have interesting terrain control with Misty Terrain and Grassy Terrain. So we'll see how that works, but just Choice Banded Woodhammer is basically a good game. It's gonna nuke anything that's not a steel type, not like a poison type, fire type. But I do have enough coverage with like Superpower, Stone Edge. Tapu Bulu is such a great physical wall breaker. He's 130 attack with Grassy Surge, which powers up Woodhammers, powers up Horn Leeches. And also has decent bulk and a 115 defense, which is, I believe, the same as Tapu Fini. Yeah, so it has the same physical bulk, a little less special defensive bulk, but I have Tapu Fini there, and Latios has decent 120 special defense. So that's not that big of a deal. A little lower speed than the other pokes, but it's good to have a little bit of speed diversity on your team. Tapu Bulu is pretty straightforward, just a physical nuke, and I really plan on this to be my Z Captain, but later on you'll see that I picked something different as my Z Captain. We're only allowed to have one Pokemon on our team that's a Z Pokemon user. The next Pokemon I wanted something with decent speed, versatility, and its attacking ability. And the average for this pick was pick 39, which is like a mid-3rd round pick. I got it with pick 56, so I got it in the mid-4th round, and that would be Victini. Victini's great just because it has base 100s around the board. It's got V-Create for a very powerful physical attacking stab, and Blue Fair, which is a very strong special attacking stab. So it's very hard to switch into it because you don't know necessarily if it's going to be physical or special based. It could also be a nice Choice Scarf user with U-turn and Trick on it. It can be a Trick Room abuser. It has high speed, but if you give it like a minus speed, 0 IVs, you'll be slower than a decent amount of threats. And if you had Trick Room, it has decent enough bulk to get it up on its own, and you can spam V-creates, so it lowers your speed even more, so you still get off powerful hits and become even faster in that regard. A little gimmicky, but it could work. It's a very decent Assault Vest user just because of its base 100s across the board. It can also be defensive with Will-O-Wisp, though it's probably not the most optimal spread. If it's a set that I need to bring, then I can definitely bring it for sure. Victory Star is a nice ability that I can run Thunder with a little bit more recklessness. I can run Blue Flare. Even though it's a base 85, it'll get up to like 96-97% accuracy with Victory Star. So that's a very cool ability there. Victini is just very unpredictable in its attacking ability. And Grassy Surge is actually very nice for it, so that way Earthquakes do less to Victini than they would normally. The next Pokemon I wanted, I needed a Poison Resist. I did get 2 Tapus, so I am weak to Poison and Steel to an extent, but I have Victini there for Steel type, so I'm not worried at all about it. But I also wanted a Stealth Rocker, because I cannot get a Stealth Rocker out in the team. So I think I might have gotten the best poison resist stealth rocker out there in Skarmory. Skarmory might be the best physical wall in the game, even though its HP is a little underwhelming. Its steel and flying typings make it resistant to a lot of physical attacks. And like fighting, it's neutral against, and it can roost off the damage, or on fighting types can threaten them out with Brave Bird. Coming off not great base 80 attack, but Brave Bird is a high powered move to begin with. So I got this Pokemon with the 73rd pick, and the average that Skarmory went was pick 42, so another mid-third round pick like Victini that I got in the 5th round. So just trying to get the best Pokemon available on the board was my overall strategy. Has Stealth Rocks, also gets Spikes, Whirlwind in case a physical sweeper gets out of hand, Reliable Recovery and Roost, and then of course I have a Dragon Fairy Steel Cord. It's pretty good with Latios, Tapu Fini, Tapu Bulu, and Skarmory. So for the next pick, I got for the 88th pick for me, the average for this Pokemon was a 54th pick, so like a mid-4th round pick. And one of the pools that actually didn't go, which is just, I have no idea how this Pokemon did not get picked at all. But I got Dragonite. Now I have a dragon already, but I already got 2 fairies, so why not get 2 dragons? But dragon spam is very, very nice. And what's cool about Latios, it could be physical or special, so it's a little unpredictable there. Let's say you get to, if it's physical, a Dragon Dance, it can weaken the initial switch in to Dragonite, so Latios can weaken whatever Pokemon is there that's meant to handle a physical Dragon Dance sweeper. And then Dragonite can come in later on in the match, Dragon Dance up, and hopefully kill that weakened check. And assuming that my opponent's not going to have a secondary Dragon Dance resist, then I should be in pretty good shape there. Dragonite can also go special. It has decent Hunter special attack, and I can go with agility as opposed to Dragon Dance to get a lot of speed and hit hard there. This is my Z-move user. I think Dragonite's one of the best Z-move users out there just because of Z-Fly and Z-Thunder to hit water types, or Z-Thunder Punch depending on the set and depending on what Pokemon it is. Sometimes Z-Thunder hits harder even if it's a physical base set. Great sweeper. It is a defog user without multi-skill, I guess, until until Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon comes out anyway. I think it gets defog with multi-skill, but I'd have to use Inner Focus if I use defog there. But you guys have seen me use Dragonite before. You'll know what I do with it. So I have my 6 very high valued Pokemon, and the last 2 Pokemon I want to like round out the team. Now, a couple things I wanted included a secondary rocker, so that way Skarmory didn't have to come to every match and get rocks up. I wanted a decent speed. I guess my fastest thing is Latios, which is good. I guess for now, Victini at base 100 is fine. It could be a Choice Scarf user now to speed everything normally. But if I want Victini to not be a Choice Scarf user, then I would like something a little bit faster. Victini could more utilize its wide mood pool. I would want something with momentum to get in Tapu Bulu and Dragonite a little easier, because they are a little slow and I want like a free switch in generally. And electric immunity is always nice, and a psychic immunity is always nice. I do have electric resistances in Tapu Bulu and Latios, but neither of them really want to take electric hits that much. Latios can, but if it's designed to take electric hits, then it's taking away from its attacking potential. And a dark type or a psychic resist is usually good to have. Victini is a decent one, but getting a secondary one is nice. So the 7th Pokemon I got is Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen has a little bit underwhelming stats, but it has decent enough bulk, and sheer force allows it to hit very hard even without any special attack or attack investment. So that's very nice in that regard. It can be defensive or offensive based on its stats. It can be physically offensive, though it's normally run as a special attacking spread. Very good electric resist. It's good because it's a ground type that's not 4 times weak to something like, say, Gliscor. That's a good electric resist, but it's 4 times weak to ice, so you have to watch out for that. At least with Nidoqueen, Hidden Power Ice should normally not 2-hit KO'd, or you can easily design Eevee so it doesn't get 2-hit KO'd by Hidden Power Ice. It also benefits from Grassy Surge, so it's not hit for Earthquake damage, but it's not weakened by its Earth Power attacks. So that's a good trade-off there. And the 8th Pokemon I had, so I wanted something a little bit faster. My team is somewhat slow. A base 100 and base 110 is pretty good speed, but something even faster to get Tapu Bulu and Dragonite in for free would be nice to have. So I went with Greninja. Now this is Torrent Greninja, not a Protean or Battle Bond, but I'm perfectly fine with Torrent Greninja just because it has great 122 speed. It's gonna outspeed a ton of things, I guess, besides like Weavile. Tapu Koko doesn't outspeed Aerodactyl, Beedrill. But it outspeeds the majority of the metagame. Has a fast U-turn, which will be nice to get in Dragonite and Bulu, as I said before. This also gets spikes and T-spikes, so I have T-spikes potential Greninja and Nidoqueen. I have spike potential in Greninja and Skarmory. I guess I do have 2 Defoggers, no Rapid Spin, which is a little unfortunate, but I do have the potential to a Hazard Deck my opponent if I feel like it's necessary. Otherwise, Greninja has good stabs and Hydro Pump, Surf, Dark Pulse. Has enough coverage like Grass Knot, Gunk Shot, Ice Beam, Low Kick. It has Water Shuriken, which is a good enough priority move. So having the Dark typing with Greninja also prevents Psychic Span to happen, or like Psychic, or it would be like Calm Mind, Iron Defense like Reuniclus, or another type of Psychic setup like that regards with mono attacking Psychic. Necrozma can also run that set. So at least I probably prevent that happening with Greninja, even if Skarmory could just Whirlwind those set down normally anyways. So some Pokemon I could have picked that I didn't with my 7th or 8th pick just because I wanted better fit. Celebi was still there, Mega Pinsir, Mega Tyranitar. There were crazy Megas that were still available, but obviously I got a Mega with my first pick, so I couldn't pick a second Mega. Conkeldurr was still there. Melodic was there. Now, I would have definitely considered Melodic if I didn't have Tapu Fini, just because I feel like that's such a great physically or especially defensive wall there. Slowbro was there. A little bit falling out of grace, but still a good defensive Pokemon that can be offensive with Trick Room. Volcanion was there, which is crazy. I mean, I had Water type and a Fire type already with Victini and Tapu Fini, and I have Greninja, but Greninja acts a lot differently than Tapu Fini, though I guess Volcanion does too, but they run a similar speed, and I felt like Greninja has more versatility with this team than Volcanion, and Xurkitree was still there, which would be a very cool Z-move user, but again, I went with Greninja as a faster Pokemon in general. I wanted something with even more speed. And if I just got Xurkitree in that spot, which I could have, then I'd have to rely on it just about always being Scarfed. Either that or Victini or Xurkitree would basically always be Scarfed, which I don't want to take away from their capabilities if I don't have to. So that's my team right there. I feel like I should be in pretty decent position. We'll see if Mega Latios is any good or if it's garbage, like people say. So we'll see. So in the next couple days, I'll be getting my pool battles up. So it'll be four teams in a pool, top 2 advance to the round of 64. So hopefully I make it that far. Until next time, later, guys.